All right, how's everyone doing today? I got a bunch of different stuff happening. Switched out a ton of monitors, gear, cabling. I removed probably around, I'd say almost 100 yards of cable from my little room here. It was kind of insane. So got a whole bunch of different stuff going on. But the big thing here, and I'll actually go to the desktop and show everybody. I've switched to a 1440p, and I am no longer doing a direct mirror. What that means is, and I'll actually kind of show like my frame rates. Actually, let's see how this goes. This is kind of what I'm doing now. So I'm actually using a 1080p output right here. That's what you see on the stream, but it's scaled from 2560. And then my main display here is now 2560 running at 165 refresh. Before I had 1080p 60 because you could just mirror that all day long with like a cheap $10 device off Amazon. And let's just say it's not good for my eyes, and I wanted to downsize my monitors. Like I had just monitor explosion going on in here, and they were just like old 60 hertz 1080p monitors. So I wanted to switch that out, so I did, and I went full 1440p, and I love this new resolution. Scaling it is a little tricky with like DPI, but getting all this going was also kind of tricky in Linux. I think a lot of people struggle with display scaling in Linux, and I wanted to explain that a little bit too in this stream. But I hope everybody's doing. I see Don in the crowd. Got some other folks here. Yeah, well, this is all Debian based, so I love Debian. Debian's like my favorite distro of all time. It's not for everybody, but man, it is just so awesome, so solid. Yeah, that's about it. Slim, why don't you post on Odyssey anymore? Odyssey was a neat platform, and I hope it succeeds. But there's just not enough eyeballs over there for me to put much attention to, and there's it's a chicken and egg situation. I think a lot of people hope that it survives and it becomes like a major player in like the online video space. However, I have a different take than most people when it comes to video platforms or just social media in general. I just don't think it's good. I don't think any platform's good. I don't think any of it's good for society, which is fine. It's just, it's just not where the eyeballs are, and the platforms are just there as basically advertising. That's basically all this is that. And, usually I put a hook in to push you back to like christitus.com, and that's kind of what I can control. If I don't own and control it, then I don't really put much stock into it unless that platform has eyeballs. And Odyssey does that. Also, Odyssey has a little bit of a crazy population. There's a lot of folks over there that, let's just say, it gets a little tinfoil hatty, and you got some crazies. And that is very unattractive for someone like myself, where, you get flat earthers over there. You got all manner of just crazy folks. So that's kind of why I don't really deal with Odyssey anymore. But I do hope it succeeds. I hope it gets bigger, and I hope more of the mainstream find it. Or at least something. I would love more competition. But yeah, no, like Rumble, BitChute. I mean, there's just a billion different ways to do it. PeerTube. There's a bunch of different ones. It's just none of them have a user base. And how do you crack that? And my thing is, I don't think you will. I think really the future is more independent. Having independent sites and having those that where you're not just sitting on a video platform. I really think that is where it should be. But yeah. Yeah, so this is a 1440p scaling. Hey, how's it going, Michael? Yeah, so let's see here. So one of the things you can do, I actually did a video about this if you're interested. It's like monitor resolution. I don't like a lot of traditional, like some folks say that Linux doesn't do a great job with monitor support of some sort. But I mean, really, I kind of like the monitor setup in Linux better than Windows, mainly because I just hard code everything. So like anytime I have, like, if let's say I unplug something, it doesn't matter. Everything's hard coded to those inputs on my graphics card. I usually start by going into like a ETC X11. If you're using Wayland, this will actually be different. Some of the newer like Fedora and I think even Ubuntu's moved to Wayland a little bit. But usually I come into this directory and I make a little comp file. And if we can just vim this comp file. And what I usually do is I put the ports that I'm using and the monitor connected to them. So I want to make sure that everything plugged into HDMI A-0, which you have to kind of map them out a little bit, which I'll show. Like if you want to map out, you can just do an X-Randar and it kind of just shows the stuff. But you map out those ports on your card and then you can put exactly the resolution that it should be. The refresh or target refresh. I like to do preferred mode and target refresh. You can actually hard code them to like specific monitor resolutions. I don't particularly like to do that. I think you should just do target refresh with preferred mode and let it figure out the rest. And then that's it. So pretty much what I'm doing here, this DPI command up at the top, right in here, this actually is not currently working, so that is not working. DPMS, that's like a power saving mode or power management is what it is, which I do. This HDMI is just what you all are seeing. It's a 1080p, and you're probably thinking, well, how did you scale the 1080p to catch the 2560? And what I did for that is your display manager is actually where I like to kind of attack this approach. You could also do it in like your profile, your dot profile file on your user, so when you log in it runs it. But I like to put that in the actual, I use LightDM for my display manager. If you're using KDE, it's SDDM. If you're using GNOME, it's GDM. And I like to kind of put it right here, and I think we'll just do display. Where's that at? And usually I just do a little display script. So as soon as it hits login on my system and the display manager pops up, it immediately runs this one script. And that one script, if we look over here, let me clear this out. And we cat this display script. It's running that. So it's just running an X-Randar. Now, technically, you could just rely solely on X-Randar and not have to bother with that Xconf that I just showed. But I like to kind of do both, because let's say this command doesn't run or I switch my display manager. I want it to still show my monitor and have the correct resolution. Or if I come into, like, let's say I pop into here on my TTY, which you can't see. Oh, no, you can see. Wow, that's really small. Let's fix that real fast. Dpackage reconfigure console setup. Oh, dpackage reconfigure console setup, I think. Actually, what is it? Dpackage. Well, I thought there was a reconfigure command, but I might be mistaken here. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We could always set the console font. That's usually how I do it, but... yeah, Wayland does have better DPI handling than X11. X11's DPI handling is pretty terrible. I might actually give Wayland another fair shake. It's been a couple years since I last tried. Huh. Let's see. Let's come here, set console font. I actually did a video on setting console font not too long ago, actually. I think like 6 months ago. And yeah. Let's see, Linux console. I know I'm on Debian using the Arch Wiki, but the Arch Wiki is just so darn good. I don't know how anyone doesn't use it. Console. Where's that? All right, show console, set font. Oh, okay. And we just need to look at user share KBD console fonts. And then just use set font command. So if we're coming back to here, show console fonts. Ah, what was that? Console font. Okay. Huh. And it was in the user share KBD console font. So we do a ls user share KBD. Huh. Yes. I'm just looking for console fonts right now. I think it's on a little bit different directory here. It's console. Yeah, I don't see. Oh, there's console fonts. It's actually just user share console fonts on Debian. Yeah. So this right here should get us what we need. And I can just go set font. And then you guys should be able to read this after I finish. I thought I had Terminus on here. And I don't see a Terminus font. Oh, no, it's there. Uni 3-Terminus. Let's go 30. Now let's go 24 by 12. A little better. Not really. It's hard for y'all to see. Let's go Terminus bold. I think the scaling for X11 in console just simply won't work in proper scaling. But I think if I can do like a set font, Uni 3, Terminus, bold, and then just go full 32, you should be able to see. Let's see. I mean, it's close, but I mean, it's still badly scaled. So if I just do like a neofetch, I mean, more readable, but still not good when I'm looking at the stream here. So obviously that's one area where 1440p scaling, when you hit terminal, like pure console, is where you're going to have issues with scaling, which to be expected. Yeah, if you want like a readable neofetch, here you go. Oh, okay. Install Terminus sudo. And then it's... okay, so the reconfigure command was actually an sbin, and just somehow it's not in my path to grab it. Yeah, a lot of people like i3. I think it's like the most popular tiling window manager. I'm just not a big fan of i3 because it's pretty limiting. BSPWM, which is what I'm using, I really enjoy because I can pretty much do a script for whatever I want. I'm not limited almost ever, which is nice. All right. What else we got going on here? And for Windows, like if you look at its scaling, which this is kind of how I do my Windows, it does DPI obviously very well. I would still say for most folks, when it comes to like 1440p and 4K, this is a far better experience. I know GNOME does a good job with scaling for desktop environments in Linux. I want to say Deepin does a pretty good job. KDE can be hit and miss. It just depends. So I've tried a couple different ones, but I still think Windows gives the best user experience for scaling, as this is full 1440p, and I think I'm running at, let's go advanced. Am I running at, see, it says the refresh rate's there. Can we change that? It's not even gonna allow me. Yeah, it's only running at 60 refresh rate at 1440. That's with my my Moonlight. How I actually stream it is a little bit different. And if I go into, like, let's go here and launch into Parsec just to see Mac. I wonder how that works. Oh, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Now this one, I think, oops, nope. I forgot to Parsec again. Forgot to go immersive. All right, let's go immersive mode, please. All right, cool. Now I can use global hotkeys. We'll quit that and that. And that. And I think what I can do here now is, let's see how we can do scaling on this. I might need to add a dummy slot into the output for this Mac. Let's see what it looks like. I bet Mac does the best for just general presentation. I know a lot of just people like that love that. Let's go displays. And okay, there's how do you show resolution on Mac? I forgot. They do something really stupid. They like protect their users from showing. I forget. I remember it was something completely silly. Show resolution modes Mac. You have to hold down the Alt key while you press the scaled button. Huh. That's interesting. All right, hold down the Alt key while you press the scaled button. Okay. Well, that's yeah. All right, I'm gonna put a dummy slot in real fast. Let's see what happens. And let's go. So I always buy a bunch of extra stuff. This is all the cables that I removed. Just like an insane amount of cables. But what I picked up to remove a lot of the display mirroring and things I was doing, because at the end of the day, you know, YouTube and recording for video, I would say these little things are great. Let's see if I can't focus this. Bam. This guy right here is just a dummy display. And basically what that does is, if you don't have a monitor hooked up to your system and you're using headless, grab these. They're like $3 or $4 off Amazon. And we just plug that in, and then it should unlock some display modes for us. All right, here we go. Let's go back to the desktop. So, if we come into our system preferences again, let's see if Mac gives us something with headless. I haven't done much headless work on Mac, so I can't tell you. Ooh, okay. 60 hertz, that's new. We hold Alt. Oh, yeah, there we go. Gorgeous. All right, perfect. So then if we do, where's the other scaling? I wonder. Yeah, as far as increasing the DPI. Increase DPI. Increase DPI Mac OS. Let's see what kind of DPI it has. Yeah, so like Mac kind of hides their stuff, it looks like. Okay, so when you click scaled, apparently there's something there. No, this is what I'm getting. So it says most of those options are right here, but I do not see. That's just rotation. That's odd. Huh. So there is no DPI on here, or maybe they hid it somewhere. Let's go DPI Big Sur. It's looking like Mac has the worst DPI config. So we got Windows DPI, which is pretty easy, but maybe I'm just missing it. It's probably some easy. Huh. It's just kind of strange. I guess the scaling, this is actually maybe they think users are dumb. I feel like Mac kind of treats their users like they're all idiots, and they just like hide the DPI from them. So they force you into like a lower resolution. That just doesn't make any sense though. Like coming down into here, like it drops a considerable amount of detail. Like you should have a higher resolution like this, and then be able to increase the DPI like I did on Windows to have that crispness, but also so where you can read it on a lower end monitor when you're doing scaling. Huh. Anywho, yeah, that's interesting. I guess whenever I want to display it on stream or anything like that in Mac, I got to switch the resolution. It's kind of janky. What if we go just default? Nah. Nope. That is odd. All right, well, that's Mac scaling, I guess. I have to look in. They can't just not do DPI. Yeah, I use Mac OS on Mac hardware just because it's really difficult to have. You can do Hackintosh, but eventually they're going to patch out most of the Hackintosh stuff. I'm really looking forward to, I think it's a Shida Linux or something like that. I can't pronounce it, but that is going to be Linux on Mac hardware. Those M1 chips are extremely powerful, and they're very, very good for the price point. $800, and I have been immensely happy with that Mac Mini. I gotta tell you, I hate Apple's hardware for the most part, but that $800 Mac Mini was a steal. Yeah, it's called scale resolution. You don't need DPI or scale setting, and that's why you get a Mac, so you don't need to know that stuff. I think that's fair. I mean, that's fair. Most people aren't going to be one to dive into this and like, hey, what are my DPI? So it's kind of funny. Like you have the Mac side of things where it's just like select your resolution, and most cases Mac should just auto detect your stuff. And since Mac controls most of the hardware and they have like Retina displays, well, most people are just going to use all Mac and it's just going to work perfect and it's just going to look beautiful and they control that whole system. So it's pretty much idiot proof. The downside is you don't have much ability to do custom stuff like I'm doing. Like I don't like to hook a monitor up to my Mac. I'm just using it as a headless thing sitting in a rack, and it's just a Mac Mini. So yeah, there's that. Not very many people are like that. It's probably like 0.00001% of people that use Mac are using it like me. So then there's a Windows. I think Windows is a good happy medium where you have control over the DPI, you have control over how much scaling happens, and you can hard code that resolution in there as well, which is good. And then you have obviously the Linux side, which is this right here, which, you know, I'm pretty happy with as well, to where you can control your resolution, you can control your DPI, but even more, you can like fine tune it to the millimeter of your screen. So you can actually do some even more fine tuning to where if you had like a tape measure, you would just measure out the exact dimensions of your monitor and you can get it looking as good as it possibly can and really hard code everything in there using, like I showed earlier in this stream, X11 or a combination of XRandR and X11. Pretty darn cool though. That's scaling across all three OSs. And I gotta say, I really love having a 1440p monitor. There's a script for high DPI. Ooh. Yeah, I could probably hide the parsec button. I usually just kind of have parsec floating over the dock that doesn't really leave anyways, so I kind of leave it. It's totally okay. So yeah, before how I did things, like I showed you all that extra cabling and stuff. Before, every single system I had one cable, one HDMI cable coming out, and then it would go into like a $20 or $30 mirror, like a one HDMI in, two HDMI out from Amazon. And then those two HDMIs, one would go into a capture card and one would go to my monitor. That's how I was able to capture BIOS and other things like that, because it would just mirror everything. The downside to doing that is everything was running at 1080p, 60 hertz. And that kind of sucks. I mean, really, it's not there's a lot of benefits for the 1440p running at 120 or 160 hertz. Like this is actually 165 hertz. And I really enjoy just how good this looks. It may not look very good on stream or on video, but that's a sacrifice I'm frankly willing to make. I can just adjust the scaling for recording or maybe just, zoom in when I need to in a video. Just having this, it's a considerably less eye strain, and I can fit a lot more on my desktop, where if I'm doing any coding or anything like that, I was really hamstringing myself by staying on 1080p, even though that makes the videos a little easier. I don't have a curved monitor. Curved monitors are a little gimmicky in my opinion. Maybe if you're like 2 inches away from a curved monitor, but my monitors usually sit about an arm's length away. So if I'm like right here and I'm reaching out, it's probably a good, meter or 3 feet at a minimum. I don't like my monitors like super close, and I have enough monitors to where it's like, is curve really going to matter? I think once you get into like some ultra wides, specifically 40 inches plus, so you got like a massive monitor, like it's scaling like just ridiculous amounts, then the curved makes more sense. But curved for 24 inches or 27 inches, it's a gimmick. You're just paying for a gimmick, and honestly, it's not even a good gimmick. I feel like it's an inferior viewing experience than just grabbing a flat monitor at sub 30 inches. You know, the 24, 27 inch monitors that are pretty much the standard in the market. I don't see a point in curved. So yeah, my monitor was not selected out of some kind of great careful selection. What ended up happening was I got this wild hair and I was like, I want to switch this out and I want to try it now. So I didn't want to order anything, especially this close to Christmas. So what I ended up doing was just going to like the local store I have. I probably should have gone to Micro Center. I just didn't want to drive all the way to Dallas. So instead I went to Best Buy and I was like, all right, let me pick out the best monitor they have that's local to me, that's just right down the street. And I ended up getting like an HP Omen. It's okay. It's nice, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think it's overpriced for what it is. And I think you can do better with less money if you're just patient and order it. However, I'm not patient, and I just was like, I want this now. So that's why I was like, all right, whatever, I'll just do this. So don't do as I did. Be more patient. Yeah, a 32 inch, I could, once you get over 30 inches, honestly, curved starts making a lot more sense. Yeah, impatience is expensive. So much truth there. Oh well. Yeah, and I honestly, I really like, well, Best Buy has a bunch of markups, but also I had like a bunch of certificates and stuff, so I got like $150 off or something. And it ended up being not a rip-off, but it wasn't like a great deal either. So even with like $130 off, I was like, I still felt like I paid too much for what I got, but not like an excessive amount. It was still okay. But yes, I should have just gone to Micro Center. I love them. I just didn't want to drive. So that's scaling in a nutshell here. But like I said, the big thing here is not having the... I guess I could unhook my monitor or turn off my monitor and then force everything through the capture card. So like if I wanted to show everyone the BIOS or the grub screen, let's say I was doing another grub video, I would need to probably disconnect my main monitor and then just like work on it through my capture card. That would be a good workaround here instead of doing the screen mirroring like I was doing. Yeah, this one is the 27 inch. And I mean, honestly, when you get to, I mean, when it comes to 1440p, I honestly think anything over 27 inches is you're stretching, you're really kind of stretching those pixels. You're not, you know, the difference between a 1440p at 27 inch and the difference between 1440p at a 32 inch. I was actually talking to a guy at work the other day about this, and I think we pretty much said, you know, I guess if you're blind and you need that kind of stretched out, the 32 kind of makes more sense at 1440p. But for fidelity purposes, I would say honestly 27 is probably the sweet spot for 1440p. It's big enough to where it just makes sense and it's a really good pixel density. But 32, it starts to stretch a bit, I think, to where it's not as crisp. Obviously, your pixel density gets a little off, even though they do sell 32 inch at 1440p. You have a 1080p at 32 inches. Oh, man. Oh, my God. That's what we call an old man monitor. That is crazy. Oh, my word. 1080p at 32 inches. I couldn't. I could not. Oh man, that's awesome. What's the right resolution for a laptop screen? That really depends on the screen. I think laptop screens have the most. I mean, there's so many variations of so many different screens. I honestly think. Spoiler here. This is going to be a little bit of a spoiler. Tomorrow's video is Saturday. Tomorrow's Saturday. Yeah, Saturday's video. I'm reviewing a Tuxedo Infinity Book Pro, and it's got a weird resolution. It's like 2880 by 1800, so it's like a 3K resolution. I gotta say, it's freaking awesome. Like that is an amazing screen. Like 4K would just be ridiculous unless you had like a 17-inch laptop. You might be able to get away with 4K at like a 17-inch laptop, but that resolution, I didn't think I'd like it. But I was wrong. I love it. I'm using the crap out of that laptop like when I'm in bed. Someone said 1080p at 49 inches. What are you doing, like a TV? I know that's not a computer monitor. Oh, yikes. Yeah, like, any 40 inches in 1080p is, I don't know. I mean, you're better off just going and buying a TV at that point. I mean, not really. Most TVs kind of suck. I've used the TV as a monitor. I will say the newer ones, at least you can read text, but it's not a great experience. Like the refresh rates, and I've never run into a TV that I'd be happy with as a computer monitor. I've had some that are like passable, but still, no. Yeah, I do hate laptops. I only review them like about once a year I'll grab one. Or if it's something unique. I think Chrome OS was earlier in the year. So I think I've actually done 2 laptop reviews this year. But I just hate like the standard age-old laptops from like HP and all those. That'd be soul-crushing for me making videos about those laptops. So as far as everything else here, let's take a peek. What else do we need to do with the project itself? One thing I did want to look at, because I do want to get this somewhat at a ready to commit level for folks to download. Because right now, I think I'm just having to download the stock ISO. We've tried to make the ISO in past streams, and that's been just a disaster. But I think, do I still have that here? I think I pretty much have somewhat of an ISO using, I think it was an ISO build. I forget where we left off on this. I don't want to do, maybe I'll do a build in the background while we do our thing. Yeah, SID, profile 00. I think the profiles were wrong on our build simple CDD. So let's see. I could just do a basic SID build so people have that. But I think that's easier just to kind of point to the weekly builds in Debian and not reinvent the wheel, so to speak. Because I do think I did something wrong with one of these. Let's see. Somebody had their, about to say, somebody had their, all right, let's see, automated install. Fully automated installer, pre-seeding. I may do a little bit of pre-seeding. Skip some of the monotonous portions of it, but not too much. And here's where we got stuck. The profile, I think, is where this is failing. Because I know when I build a SID ISO, I could just build a SID ISO using this without the profile. So if I go vim build sh, just to show this, actually, I think I might just go ahead and do this. Oh, you know what? I think I had a proxy on my... I'm going to remove that proxy. It's been causing me more problems than it's worth. Nope. Let's go sudo vim apt comp. Oops. I want to say I did... Oh, I put that proxy somewhere. I can't remember. I think it was aptitude, wasn't it? It was not. Not in here. Oh, I think it was 99 APT caching, actually. That's what it was. Yeah, that was it. And I'm just going to remove this. I think there was something going on with the APT caching that I was like, all right, I need to remove that. So let's just do clean of apt. And then we're just going to do an update. May do a local cache. I think that might actually be even better than pushing it through the network. How to download ZID without GUI. Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking, Don, here. I just wanted to kind of do a quick update to that. And then look at... look at our build.conf. What did I put in here? Yeah, mirror components, main, non-free, and contrib. So then we can do like NVIDIA drivers. We can do a whole bunch of other cool stuff. And it'll grab the latest and greatest packages and create an ISO. So if we do modification of this and we remove the profiles, let's just say we remove profile 00. We can add it back in. But I think we can do that. I'm just going to do a sudo rm rf of temp, and also I'm going to get rid of images as well. I don't even know what was there. And now if we do the build process, or actually I think we just don't even need sudo for the build process. I'm going to go ahead and run this. This should just give us a basic SID ISO. And then what I want to do is look at finding some build CDD profiles. I feel like that profile I built with if we go into profiles, go ISO build, if we go profiles and we do like the packages, this is everything I had in that profile. I think I'm missing packages, and that's why it's failing. Because I successfully built a couple packages, but it kept failing at certain things. So I feel like there's like maybe a dependency resolution that's not happening, or something in the background with this profile. Yeah, so there's also something like if you're interested in APT cache, there's a local package you can use. I think it's called a prox. That if you're interested, instead of, so how I set it up, I added a Docker container with apt cache and then did like this proxy through the network to hit it and then go out to the Debian servers. It worked, but I didn't like it as a solution. It would make a lot of sense if I had like a bunch of servers, and if I could probably toss that on its own dedicated like proxy server and tie that into the gateway. I think I could make it work like really good, but I think I want to go a different route. And what I found, I think it's a prox Debian. Let's just do an example of that. This is a proxy server for Debian archive files from apt. So you can do a prox with that, and then also do it in your build CDD files. So when we're building these out to cache them, we could use that. I don't know if we'll test this on the actual sources file, but basically, I think we could just go approx just to make sure it's there. Approx. Yeah, prox is already there. And I think this actually runs by stock default. So if you installed a prox package, you could actually do a local cache of apt. So if you're building like a bunch of ISOs like we're doing right now, this would probably be a better solution than trying to use an actual like physical proxy server somewhere else on your network, as everything is going to be locally cached. So you're going to get even more speed. That's kind of what I wanted to do. So since I'm not using a bunch of, I'm not using like apt update on a bunch of systems, it doesn't make sense to me having my own proxy server. So I think this is a little more appealing to most people using Linux as well. So once it's installed, I think we can just add, it says just add apt :999/Debian. That seems off, but let's just do it and see what breaks, right? So it basically is saying use this and then just change it. So if we look, it wants to just do apt :999, which just seems a bit odd, but yeah, that looks like a fail to me. Could not resolve apt. So I want to say that a prox comp file on the prox server might contain the lines. Oh, so then if we go into etc, probably is a prox here. Yeah, there's a prox vim approx.conf. This is where we'd add our two files. So we have output, and we would just put Debian. And apparently all you'd need just HTTP : I almost want to change this though. Let's do DFW Debian server. No, that's not it. Mirror. That should get me something. Debian does Dallas. It sounds bad. That would, all right, come on, Linode. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's too funny. All right. Alrighty. Let's see. Rackspace probably has something, but that's an Arch Linux mirror. Let's just look at Debian mirrors. Ah. I do want to, I could just grab the official Debian mirror, but I want to see what we have. We'll go United States. I swear there was one mirror from Debian that was just really local to me. That was awesome. Guess I can just use that, but oh well. I'm just making something, making it harder than it needs to be. We'll just use this. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's gonna be Debian. Security, it doesn't have a security repository. And I think that's all we need, really. That'd be nice if that was all we needed. Oh man, all right. Let's see if I can remember right that cat t. Is that it? Write sudo cat t %. No. How do you write out again? Oh, well, whatever. I guess we'll just do write quit. All right. Can I quit Vim? Oh man, I don't know what I do. It's like I press a key combination that throws in visual mode and then it just gets me in a spot in Vim. I'm like, I don't know how to exit. It's too great. Let's do a sudo Vim :WQ. Oh, it's just X. Yeah. That's hilarious. I love it. I love it. All right. Actually, I think we can just put that. Oh, no. Oh, man. All right, well. Whatever. Was that the mirror I needed? No, that was not the mirror I needed. And then just do Debian. Does that work? I don't think that's working for me. It seems like it's erroring. Yeah. So I think apt, it should actually read sudo vim etc apt sources. And what we should probably do here is just do like %substitute apt for, I imagine we just point it to the server like 1.2 like that, just like full local host, right? I would imagine with a prox running, if there was like a system ctl status, a prox. Yeah, so a prox is a caching server. It is active and it is loaded. I think just pointing it to 127.0.01 should do local host, and we should be able to just do an update now. What's that give me? Feels like not much. Failed to fetch. All right. I'm doing something wrong. I've never used a prox before. Debian. But I did find this and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So let's check to see if we're listening on port 9999. It is listening, which is good. Yes. So maybe it just needs to be 0. Zeros doesn't make any sense to me. Typically, any kind of networking, you'd point to localhost. But, yeah, let's see. Changing default port, don't really care about. We can leave it at 999. Setting up repositories. You just add this into there. This looks like it's just giving No, okay. So this is Debian, and then our Debian US server, which is fine. Once you set all servers, you can... Oh, we need to restart the servers. Okay. So this right here is using initd. So this must be a super old article. So we should just be able to do system. We're not using initd. So systemctl. This is where we, instead of using initd like it says here, we'll use systemd, which is what our system is based on. Restart. And we're going to restart a prox socket. And that should get us what we need. Now that we have set up our prox server, it's time to configure the client stations. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay. We'll just edit host file. That makes more sense. The mouse cursor I'm using, I think is... what did I end up using for that? Let's take a peek. I am curious. I definitely need to know. Let's do LX appearance. What is my mouse cursor? Okay. Yeah, so I switched this around. I'm using Valenti's light cursors. It has a dark cursor theme too, or light. Since I'm using more of a dark aesthetic, I like the lighter. Another one that, like, if you're a big Mac fan, there's Capitine cursors. These also come in a light variant, but I'm not a big fan. I found this one and I was like, I really dig this cursor theme. So Valenti's, probably saying it wrong, but I don't care. All right, so let's make our host file. Vim etc hosts, and we're just gonna come to the end of that and add. You know what we'll do? This is a static address anyways. We're just gonna put in the local IP here. Should find it either way. It should find it on localhost too. But maybe it just needs... I should have just put localhost. Titus 1.1. Weird. I've never seen it add a 127.0.1.1. Interesting. And then we'll just edit that approx comp file. Oh, no, that's not what we need. We'll edit our apt sources list. And we're just going to do another substitute. And we're just going to find 127.0.0.1. We're going to replace that with a prox. Do that for everything. So then that replaces. And now we update. Failed to fetch. Could not resolve a prox. You know what? We're just going to reboot. Chris is consistently inconsistent. You know, you're not wrong. Regarding Vim, throws you into X mode when pressing Q. That happens quite easily. Okay. I love my synthwave beats, man. Can't beat that. Oh, what happened here? We got some issues with our startup. Well, then. That's not good. Crap. I think I did something with my .conf, BSPWM, RC. Ooh, I know what I did. Save that out. Does that get me where I need? No. No, it does not. Ah, sad face. Basically what's happening is my BSP WM config is tossing everything into the same workspace, and I don't have access to any other workspaces using my hotkeys. Oh, that's a sad face. All right. One thing we can do as well, before I forget, I do want to remove my encrypted grub. Not digging that. Default grub. Felt like on grub, I think. We could look at grub.conf as well. Huh. Let's look at 40.custom. Yeah. Let's get rid of these two. Get rid of those two. There's actually somebody shot me an email the other day about adding Windows in by just exiting grub with an extra command. That'd be interesting as well. I need to look at that. But I'm just gonna fix this and then we'll reboot again. I think what happened was, oh my gosh. All right, let's get rid of some of that. I think we can add something. Let's just add something called Windows. And we go other. And I think I just do like exit. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah. So I think you can cheese into Windows by just exiting grub with the exit command. That would be interesting as well. We'll see if that works. I think there's something else I've been meaning to do there, but we'll see. We'll find out here shortly. I'm gonna go ahead, reboot this. Oh, my menu bar is not working now too. Menu bars are overrated. All right. Does this work? Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Nah, it's still broken though. All right, well, anyways, grub seems to be fixed, which is, I guess, good. Oh, man. All right. Next, let's fix our windows. Tiling windows. We're gonna get into BSPWM again. I did something. What if I just do that? I reload it. Can you give me something better? Dude. All right, no. Hmm. Yeah, I finally upgraded my monitor. Finally did it. I love the new monitor. It does add a little level of complexity that I just wasn't anticipating when it came to recording on YouTube and stuff. I love it just in general, like computer usage. If you don't like record your screen or anything, all this crap I'm showing today, honestly, doesn't really matter. You should be able to figure out how to set refresh rate and resolution in any system. But I'm doing something here. Maybe if I just set that to like a 10 workspace. Does that work? That's not gonna work. I already tried that, I think. Huh. Yeah, so what's happening here is BSP WM is just like broken. And I broke it. It is thoroughly broken. It's not creating my workspaces. Why isn't it creating them? It's a 20. This is a 27-inch 1440p monitor. So like an HP Omen. I don't particularly like that brand of monitor. I think it's overpriced for what you get. I think you can do far better. I kind of wanted to go with like an LG Ultra. I can't remember what it is. Or heck, even like the Samsung Odysseys are pretty nice. But again, it was just kind of what was available in my local Best Buy. And I was like, yes, I'm getting it. Yeah, let's look at make sure I have the identifiers right. Correct. Let's see. It does look like I identified them correctly. Maybe because I'm mirroring the monitors. Maybe BSP WM doesn't like it when you mirror. That's a bit of a stretch. I had it working before when we started the stream, but now that I'm thinking back, I don't know if I rebooted after I plugged the monitor up. I'm pretty sure I did. But obviously I've done something. Yeah, Samsung Odysseys have iffy quality control. I mean, so far I've loved this HP Omen monitor. And most times I'm bashing HP. Hey, GSN, how's it going, man? Long time no see. All right, let's check Google. We don't have any other workspaces, so this is gonna get interesting real quick. BSP WM not making workspaces. We could just do it through our command line. That's probably a solution. So all this is a bash script, so it's just running BSP PC. So technically we should be able to like Control C this and come over to here, type it in. So by doing it there, unknown domain or command display -1. Do we need to like do like a quotes? That's not it, is it? ESP -- help. Does it have a man page? Ah, yeah. All right, let's see what we did wrong. Or what I did wrong, I should say. I'm sure I did something. Desktop select. Ooh, that's interesting. Desktop underscore SEL colon. Ah. Select a monitor. Some interesting tidbits in this. I should read the man files more often. All right, tiled. Domains. So we're using the BSPC, selecting a monitor, but I don't think it's doing it. Maybe the syntax is off. Wait. -D. Reset desktops. Rename, add, or remove desktops depending on whether the numbers are given equivalent, superior. So focus is assumed, so we should just be able to do monitor. I wonder what happens if we just do this. Can't remember. If I go restart, I think that did it. Okay. Now, usually, I think when you have multiple monitors, you'd want to specify the monitor syntax. However, I think what happened was I specified the mirroring that was happening. And since both monitors are mirrored and equal to each other and have the exact same desktop surface, what ended up transpiring was I was trying to specify one of them and send workspaces to them, and it was like, you only got one monitor, bro. I don't know what to do. Death. So instead, just specifying monitor, I think, was just a better solution. It just says, hey, all right, I'll just toss it on the first workspace and I see. And I think that was actually the way to do this. Nice. So anyways, that was RTFM. Boom. Actually doing it. That's why we have man pages. It's awesome. But yeah, it was a little bit funky on that setup because of how I doing that mirroring with the quick. Most times, if you're doing like an extended screen, like if you do use multiple monitors, you probably wouldn't want to use BSP space monitor. You would want to do BSP, BSPC space, and then the actual identifier for your monitor. I think that would work. But regardless, this does seem to work just fine. But we will know for sure by just giving it a reboot. Yeah, this is BSP WM. Yeah, this does look like it is working. Although, I think the reason why I did this, like when I do Super 2, it actually goes to Workspace 1. So if I launch into this and I push that to 1, nope. Oh, that's right. It does something weird. Somehow my super 1 key, or my mod key plus 1, gets like this weird binding effect, and then I have to relaunch everything again. Oh, well that's interesting. So it relaunched again, but this time, yeah, there's some shenanigans going on with the window manager up here. Huh. Let's do a sudo vim etc x11 xorg. Let's take a peek. I think getting rid of this DPI option is needed. And primary true, preferred mode. I honestly think we just get rid of this primary option as well. So all I really want to just say is, hey, do power management on this monitor. But frankly, I think I'm going to get rid of it as well. Let's just see what this gives me. Preferred mode. And we're going to get rid of that as well. This just basically just says, hey, these are what the resolution should be. Let's see what that does. Now, still have this bug. So what's happening is that's actually workspace 8 that we're seeing right here for the Synology or Synergy client. And it's selecting workspace 9, but somehow it's pushing into workspace 8. And when it's selecting like Discord here for workspace 6, it's actually putting it to workspace 5. So when I put workspace 2, it's actually moving to workspace 1. So somehow there's like this weird thing. And this is usually controlled by one file called, I think it is SXH, but I think it's something even more than that. I think if we just go into vim.config bsp rc, Huh, got really cold in here all of a sudden. Something's happening here. Variable defines. I think these actually should be export commands. Maybe that's causing some issues. And then when it's clearing things out here, let's clear some of this. I think I had like variety launching as well. So it's going to BSP desktop-9, sleeping, and then it starts to launch. Launch polybar, toolkit, get rid of variety, synergy, flame shot. Then it waits for internet access, moves to workspace 6, launches Discord. Maybe it's all happening too quickly. I guess I could put an artificial delay in. Possibly. Dude, like sleep 05. Hate to put so many sleep commands. This looks, I mean, if anybody's a coder out there, they're probably like, oh, this is cringe. But I want to say that there's something happening here. Is there any other config that this could be problematic? I mean, I don't necessarily need sleep twice. What I'm doing is I'm just waiting. Maybe giving it a wait. There might be something that I feel like there's something happening to when this is starting up. It builds these in. So if I do a relaunch here, let's say I save this out and I relaunch BSP RC. Well, it's fine on relaunch. I don't know why. But on the first launch, it messes up my hotkeys. So workspace 2 becomes workspace 1. Workspace 3 becomes workspace 2. It's such a weird bug that I don't know why that would be the case on initial launch. Maybe it's something with like the detection of the keyboard, or I mean, I'm stretching here. I mean, this is just all just terrible theory. So most of it's going to be incorrect what I'm saying, but something's happening to where it's not registering workspace 1. And this obviously didn't happen until I added a second monitor or second display and then started mirroring it. So my thought process is maybe it just takes a little bit of time for both those monitors to get detected. And as BSPWM is launching, those are also getting detected at the same time. And it's just kind of throwing, it just doesn't know what to do with the extra workspaces or the extra monitor. Or it's detecting the HDMI source first, assigning it one workspace, and then putting all the other ones in the other monitor. And then xrandar finally finishes, and then it's like, oh, they're both the same monitor now. They're both mirrored. So then when it relaunches, it fixes everything. So maybe we do a delay at the very beginning of the script. Let's say we sleep it for 50 seconds or half a second. I mean, we could do that. I don't think it was color. I don't know. Oh. Let's go back to the beginning here. Let's say we remove these. And instead of using a sleep, we should probably just see if xrandar is finished, if there was a way to detect that in script form. Yeah. Monitor. Oh, okay. I got you. There we go. Linux. Yeah. I got you. All right, so I see what you're going. You can actually force the monitor file. I was doing it incorrectly, I think. I think what we need is DisplayPort. Seeing that example helped. Thank you, Linux Seal. I don't know how to pronounce that A. It's hyphenated. But I appreciate you, sir. I'm pretty sure you're right, though. That makes so much more sense. And then monitor. I don't even think I need to set anything in this monitor. That's the thing. I think I'm just going to leave that alone. Because there's no config that needs to happen on the HDMI, because that's just a mirrored monitor. So I don't need to assign workspaces to it. I think that is what we need. That makes more sense. So if we do a restart of that. Nah, it still does it. So at least on restart, it's doing it by stock. Maybe we just assign like the mirrored monitor, like monitor HDMI A0 display. Let's just give it like 10. What does that do? Does it even do anything? Oh, I did not like that. It fixed it. What? Oh, that's... Yeah. Okay. So what was doing when the monitors are starting up, that's totally what was doing it. Now that we have proper syntax, that's working. So what we could do is we could hide that workspace 10. So it just kind of assigns that dummy workspace that will frankly never be used. Oh, yeah. Setting the XB map as well would be beneficial. All right, I agree with you there. Let's just push this to workspace 9. Oops. And interest server. Let me show your stuff here. Those are both good. So I don't need to do the SXHKD, the hotkey command. It's at the start there, but setting up the set keyboard layout. I mean, I don't think this is it, but I think that's always a good thing to do, and I have not done it, I don't believe. I'll check my auto start just to make sure. XKB KB map dash layout US, and then an ampersand. So that should do that, but let's also run that command just to make sure we're not messing anything up. KB map dash layout US, and then just do enter. All right, that's fine. I don't even think we need the ampersand, frankly. I should just move on. Tony, you want to stop Windows Update? Here, I'll show you. I love the Windows questions like, hey, how do I break Windows? I do get a lot of hate from folks that break their install. So use this at your own discretion. But I always like showing people how to do things, stuff that Microsoft won't like. So anyways, in your Windows, if you just go service.msc, come down to Windows Update right here, switch this disabled, bam, hit apply, and Bob's your uncle. So that's what you do. I don't recommend doing that, but if you disable Windows Update, it'll get there. Another thing you could do, like sometimes it will heal itself because it's Windows. It will do things behind your back that you don't want it to do. You could also look at its dependencies. So Windows Update, to prevent it from healing itself, for anybody that likes to write viruses out there, let me just show you a thing or two. Yeah, let's see what we have. These dependencies don't disable RPC. That would lead to a non-functional system. But I believe Windows Update also relies heavily on the bits surface. So if you look at background intelligent transfer service, otherwise known as bits, you can actually disable this as well. I personally like bits. I use bits all the time. In my script, I use bits to download Oh No Shut Up. You don't technically need to use bits for like more of the PowerShell level. You could actually use WebInvoke. It's just slower. Bits does a better job with like threading and bandwidth and transferring. But I think Windows Update relies on it. So if you disable bits and Windows Update, you're pretty much guaranteed not to get updates. And then also I'd probably do like a local policy too. So if you want to see that, quick detour here, guys. I'll get back to that install. Sometimes, no, not a GP update. It is, man, why am I running a blank here? What's local policy? Oh, weird. I've done that so many times. Can't remember. I forgot. Huh. Not local security policy. Weird. There's edit group policy. I think it's polkit.msc. No, not polkit. I'm thinking Linux. Linux and Windows sometimes gets blended in my mind. Anywho, just launch your local group policy editor. Come into Windows Components, come down to Windows Update in here as well. So what I'd like to do is just come into Windows Update for Business, and you want to enable this setting, put it on semi-annual channel, or maybe you even put it like on a crazy old channel, whatever you're on. This will prevent feature updates from getting put on your system. I also like to delay quality updates. I don't like people disabling Windows Update just because Windows is extremely vulnerable. Every virus is written for it, and you're going to get into some trouble if you leave Windows Update for an extended period of time. Yeah, people do stupid things. It's just, and your system becomes extremely vulnerable. So I always like to say, don't disable update. I would instead disable preview and feature updates by putting on a really old channel. And then coming into quality updates, enabling that. I like to disable quality updates for about 4 days. This just ensures that only the premium security updates that actually do what the updates are supposed to do get done, which is good. And then preview builds. Enable this and then say disable preview builds. You don't want to be a guinea pig for Microsoft. Disable them. And this will help do some sane settings for Windows updates. Those are the things. I frankly, in my script, that's what those registry do's. They force it in to group policy and the registry, even for home users. Although I don't know if the latest versions of Windows even honor these older settings anymore. I think Windows is starting to get a little bit unwieldy to where they're basically not allowing you to do a lot of this stuff anymore. Anywho. Fun little tidbit about Windows updates. You use Windows? Yes. A lot. That's one thing I don't get. Like, I guess people think I'm just like some Linux nerd or something, but I'm not even a Linux admin. I'm a master of Windows. Windows is what I've used for over 20 years. I have hundreds of thousands of hours put into Windows administration. I have 11 professional Windows certifications. I have MCITP enterprise certification. I have Active Directory. I know how to administer Windows and do a lot of things in Windows. I know way more about Windows than I do about Linux. And it's kind of funny. People pigeonhole me into the Linux guy. And I'm like, well, I know a little bit about Linux desktop, but by no means am I an expert at Linux desktop. It's like, there's so much to learn. I don't think anybody's really an expert at it. I think even Linus Torvalds, the guy that created the Linux kernel, doesn't know that much about Linux desktop. There's just so much to learn. That's what makes it so fun, because we're always learning something. Like on this stream, I've already learned probably 5 or 6 things just with some of the things that have happened with chat and other things in Linux. It's a little wild. Where Windows is a little bit, it's a controlled environment that it really hasn't changed in 20 years. It's got some new coats of paint, but it really hasn't changed. GP edit. Yes, thank you. That was it. That's funny. Yeah, let's reboot and see what happens on startup. I think with this new monitor, BSP monitor, with these proper syntax laid out, I think we fixed this. We'll give it a reboot just to see what happens on startup. And then we need to disable that icon, that little gear icon, because that's going to be like a dummy workspace we're assigning to our mirrored desktop that is just for you all to view. It's not really used for anything. So it just now is just going to be a little bit of an eyesore because of where it's at. So let's see what happens on startup here. Oh, man. Yeah, so the gear moved to the left side of BSP WM. It's a weird bug. That is so bizarre. So yes, workspace 1 is still assigned to this like gear on the side. And then if we relaunch, that's so strange. I think we just do a delay at the very beginning of the script. Because there's definitely a bug in BSP WM when you're doing display mirroring. Very odd. And, yeah, that is just bonkers to me. All right. What if we don't do any display? Let's just delete this, put it towards the end here, and then assign nothing to it. Let's see if there's some precedent for this. Someone had to run into something. Add line startup after the config. Do we even have startup here? Let's see. Yeah, care to comment about Log4j? Yeah, it's affected me. Probably, I think the biggest effect was some of the Ubiquity systems, specifically any external Ubiquity systems that were online. I think they were affected by Log4j. Luckily, most of my gateway stuff was on pfSense, and pfSense was not affected from Log4j. Also, like Java, anything Java related. I had like a Minecraft server and a Minecraft community to where I had to grab like the new version of Paper, so that would be patched for Log4j. And yeah, it was a pretty aggressive, pretty nasty exploit. But luckily, I don't really have too many systems exposed with Java on them. Yeah, this is Polybar. After a line 9. So we look, you're saying it would actually be line 28. So if we just jump, what, J29 or 29J? 29J? Or, yeah, that's it. Can't remember. Yeah, that's it. So you're saying just add startup here, huh? I don't know about that. Before the BSP WM config. What does startup do? I've never run that command. Yeah, startup's actually not a command at all. Yeah, I actually went with Kitty. Alacrity is probably the market normal, but I really like Kitty a lot. Yeah, so startup, this is a Debian based system. Startup command does not exist in Debian. Yeah, Terminator's been deprecated for what, 4 or 5 years? Something like that. It hasn't had any like commits in forever. I still love Terminator is like my first like Linux kernel that I've absolutely loved and fell in love with. That's why I always like to use it, like especially for the first couple years of using a lot of the Linux desktop on the daily. What do I want to do here? It's got to be... Maybe I select the monitor before doing the... I think the BSPC config, if we look, I think we need to specify our monitor to put this config on and then just completely dump this. I wonder what would happen if we did this right here. Let's just append 10, get rid of that and say, hey, there is nothing. There is no displays on this monitor. I think it requires a display though, even though it's just a dummy monitor that's there. Let's see what happens when we type that in over here though. We can do a little trial. Because this is all bash script. So we can test out anything we put in here by just typing it into terminal. Not enough arguments. Okay, so that does nothing. What if we put 0? Oh, I like that. All right. Interesting. I think I'll leave that at 0. Or we could put like a dummy one, like 11, instead of 0. What if we did 11 and just put it... Ooh, that was a bit much. That's gonna break it. Let's just put it at 11. So that doesn't hotkey anything. So that won't mess with our hotkeys at all. So if we do 11 for that, that would push it off. Yeah, here's the xrandar as well. Query of that. You can see I'm using HDMI A0. This is the mirrored one that you're actually seeing live on the stream. Display port -1 is what you see here. Now on the config variable of BSPC, if we look at config, monitor select, desktop select, node select. Give or set a value of a setting. Setting value. Now, let's take a peek at how monitor SEL works. So it says monitor SEL. Let's take a look at monitor SEL. All right, let's just take a look at monitor. Is that not anywhere else? Hey, Zero, how you doing? Oh, not much. Switching to 1440p, running into some screen mirroring slash workspace errors. I don't think a lot of people do screen mirroring and scaling at the same time in Linux that use BSPWM. It's quite an interesting tidbit I got going on here. Is there a purpose of using Linux if you know WSL? WSL is just kind of good for syntax verification and things like that, but at the end of the day, you're still running Windows on top of it. That's the downside of WSL. But I mean, for the most part, it gets you where you need to be. If there's like a specific Linux program that you need and you're in Windows, I love WSL. Is it possible to live stream in 1440p? Yeah? Yeah, you can live stream in 1440p. Yeah, that would be a better solution for all of this. Upscale everything to 1440p. I love that idea. Obviously, I can't do it right now. It would stop the stream, but next stream is going to be a 1440p stream. That would be a better solution. Just push 1440p to both places. Although I don't know if my capture card will actually capture 1440p. I'll tinker. Yeah, that's just going to change my resolution, which I don't want. I want the full 1440p. I don't want to switch the resolution to 1080p. Oh, yeah, I see. I am getting a lot of frame drops. Yeah, my bitrate just turned to crap, guys. Yeah, no, it's lagging for everybody. All of the stream. It looks like there's a massive lag spike. I'm looking at my latency here. Does not look... It looks to be ISP based. Sad face. Yeah, so it looks like my internet provider is doing something, or my stream PC's kind of become unstable. So I think we're gonna actually have to call this short today, guys. That sucks. But yeah, I'm seeing the lag, and I'm not seeing anything specific on the stream PC that's wrong. It's just a bad connection. So something's going on with my ISP. I'll reboot the router, redo all that, but I think we're gonna have to call it a day. Sad face. Yeah, no, the bitrate is all over the map. I'm looking at my connection right now, and it is dropping all the way to 1500 bits bit rate, all the way up to 5000. I try and keep it at 5000, but it's just flashing and going everywhere. I'm looking on the stream PC itself, and there's no processes running, no network activity on that one. So it would be in my network itself. Yeah, audio should come through, but video is all over the place. Bummer. All right, well, I think the internet gods had other plans for us today, y'all. We're gonna have to do a short stream. Under 2 hours, that's a record for me. But I'll be back on Tuesday of next week. Should be regular time, Tuesday afternoons. Usually when I stream, I usually do Friday mornings and Tuesday morning. In sad face with that, I'll let y'all go. I'm going to look more into my issues with BSPWM. I'm going to work on this a little bit more today. Probably do a commit later for those that want to do multi-monitor on this type of system. So, alrighty guys, take it easy. Have a good one. I'll see you on Tuesday. And yeah, hope you have a great weekend. Get prepared. Get your Christmas presents done if you celebrate that, or Hanukkah, or whatever it is in your region. All right, guys, take it easy. Have a good one.